Oh. Well, I guess we are live. I hit my countdown and it just went away when it popped on live. So never mind. You don't get a countdown. I am here and we are ready to rock and roll. We are live, beasties. Welcome to another episode of Beast Friends Forever. Woo! I'm excited. I'm a little thrown off, but I'm excited. A little out of my routine there. But I am pumped to be here. I have an awesome guest today, somebody that I've been talking to for a long time behind the scenes, who's just a wonderful person, very kind, hilarious, and I really enjoy talking to them. And I have read some of their short story collection, and I really enjoy their writing, and I cannot wait to read their newest book and talk to them about it today so that you can all know about it too. But this author, a lot of you, if you're here, you've probably interacted with him and you're here to support him and you know that he is awesome. And he's doing me the favor of coming on, even though it's been a very busy day for him and it's basically bedtime for him. So I appreciate him coming on here. But without further ado, let me bring him on now. Help me welcome to the stage our guest tonight, Don Campbell. Welcome
Hello.
to the show.
What an
Thanks for being
introduction.
here, man. Hey, well, it threw me off for a second because normally it restarts the timer. I'll hit it and then I hit live and then it's like getting ready, blah, 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 all this stuff. And then all of a sudden it goes back to 30 seconds. And then all of a sudden I
Yep.
looked and it's just my face. And I'm like, oh, all right, we're going. All right, here we go. But yes, all the words were true. You are awesome, my friend. And I'm excited that you're here. I get to talk to you, but also I'm excited for you to have a little spotlight on you and your writing because you deserve it. So thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. No, I'm a huge fan. I've told you before. Your energy is contagious, and I watch every episode. I watch even your little shorts. I've got the bell tick. So if anyone hasn't, tick the little bell icon to get notified whenever this amazing man comes
Oh,
comes
man.
live.
Thank you. And thank you for that. I always forget to tell people subscribe, hit the bell because it does make a difference if you hit the bell because you do see it. So thank you for that,
Absolutely.
my friend. So we got J.A. Bryden here, which by you it's 9 p.m. So I appreciate you being here. And J.A.'s in Australia, and for him
Whoop,
it's
whoop.
7 a.m. So thanks for being here, J.A. We appreciate you. We've got a lot of awesome people in here. Oh, and thank you for saying this too, J.A. I love that. Let's go, beasties.
Let's
We
go,
got
beasties.
Tim McKay, another awesome author, and Bearded Book Beast channel member, Tim McKay. Thanks for being here, my friend. And then Trinity Cunningham, another awesome author and supporter of the channel. Thanks for being here, Trinity. You rock. And everybody who is here in the live stream but doesn't like to comment, you can lurk away because I love you too. And that is supporting us and we appreciate it. So just hang out, relax. But if you feel like leaving a comment, just go ahead and type away and I'll make sure Don answers it for you. And then everyone who's watching on replay, we appreciate you as well. Make sure everyone checks out the description. I've got Don's books linked in there. I've got his kind of Amazon author page with all his books that he's released and short story collections linked in there so you can check it out, support Don, because after we're done talking, you're going to want to because he's an awesome guy and we're going to talk about how cool all of his writing is. So, Don, why don't you start us off? I introduced you, but just tell us real quick what genre you write and what talk about your latest book, Whispers in the Woods, what that's about in your own words from the mouth of the creator himself.
So, for everyone that doesn't know me, my name is Don Campbell. I'm a horror author from the UK. I listen and read, typically listen to a lot of books. I work as a school caretaker during the day. So I've got a lot of time on my hands doing tasks that don't require much in the way of thinking. So I can plug in and I got through 180 books last year. So I can get through
180?
180 books last
Oh
year.
my God, that's impressive.
So yeah, I can get through a lot, but I listen predominantly to horror. I will listen. I will read and listen to thrillers and anything really that's written well or gives me a good vibe.
I like that's
So
a good
my I've currently got three books that are available. The book that you have that you did a book
I
opening
do.
for.
Yes, yes, yes. I
Um,
could not find it today. I don't know where it is from
so
because I got that before I moved and packed it up and I put it where I thought I put it. It wasn't there. So I'm like, great. Now I gotta tear this room apart because I've been reading it on ebook, but I love to read physically and that cover's so awesome. I gotta find it.
yeah, that was my first ever published work.
Hmm.
I It actually stemmed from, so as you mentioned, my debut novel, which
Yeah.
is which is
Love
Whispers in the Woods. Try and get the glare off of it. Um,
it.
this was the reason I started writing. I had an idea for a story that I wanted to put out into the world.
Mhm.
A friend of mine who actually writes, he's an author. He's an incredible writer. And I wanted, I had the story. I went to him and said, "Can you write this story for me?" And I explained the storyline. He goes, "It sounds like a great story. I'm not writing that." I was like, "Why? You write?" And he said, "That's
Yeah.
your story. That's your baby. You have to write it." And I said, "Look, but you're the writer. I've got an idea, but you're the
Yeah.
writer. You write a lot." This is a couple of years ago now.
Mm.
And he said, if he wrote it, I'll remember. If he wrote it, it would be like a remake of a movie that you love. It
Mm.
might tell the same story, but it won't be the
Won't be the
way.
same.
Yeah, it won't be
Yeah.
right. So he helped me with it. So I started writing, and after about 4, 5 months of writing it, he said, "I don't think you actually need my help to write it because you understand writing and you understand building atmosphere and tension. You've got all that down. So I think that you should just go forward and put it together." So I started putting it together, and the the baddie in this book um, was the main character of a recurring nightmare I used to have.
Really?
Yeah,
Ooh.
when I was a child, I used to have a nightmare every night
Mhm.
um, for years. And so the baddie in the book is that character. So the rest of the story wasn't the dream, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to get a handful of children that I hope readers would fall in love with and have them encounter said baddie and see how
Oh,
they deal with the situation.
man. That'd be a little therapeutic for you.
It was quite therapeutic. So I put a load of characters, some of them braver than I ever would be, um, into the book and expose them to this character and this environment, and they did well dealing with it. But when I started writing it again, I hadn't had the recurring nightmare as an adult. It sort of went
Oh,
away. But when I started writing it, it started coming back, and
oh
I was
no.
yeah. So it wasn't fab, uh, and it got a bit much. And I spoke to another friend who's quite a
Yeah.
creative. He's not an author, but he's quite creative, and he said what he thinks I should do is start writing a different story just to keep the cogs turning, and then keep going back to this, but it makes this slightly less all encompassing. It's, my I was up all night writing this. And he said, "Yeah, don't," he goes, "Give yourself a break, write something else, maybe like some short stories or something." So I
Hmm.
started writing some really silly short stories that I thought were quite good, horror based.
Yeah.
And I started sending them round to some friends. I put some on Creepypasta, the website, and
Oh yeah.
um, so I started giving like sort of sending them to people, and they liked them. I showed my wife, and she said, "This is these are actually quite good. like, have you thought about like what are you going to do with them? And I was like, oh, they're throwaway. They're just silly short stories. And she was like, but they're not. They're with a little bit of development, they could actually be
Mm.
something good. So I was like, okay. So then I was like, but they make no sense. Like they're not related at all. Like this story is nothing like this story. It's like I've got into my brain and just been, I'll take that and I'll take that, I'll take that,
Yeah.
harvesting these ideas, and then Midnight Harvest was born from said ideas. So that's
Oh,
how this came about. Now,
that's cool.
yeah, since I wrote Whispers in the Woods, um, I thought I would give myself some downtime. Like I've got that out, and I'll let that breathe. And but then I got itchy and had more ideas, and was like, oh, I should keep writing because that's fun. So I came up with another bonkers story that I thought would interest people. I thought people will like this. Um, Came up with quite a good storyline. I felt um, good characters, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll write it. And then it happened all over again. I was writing into the night, and I this time I took on a few beta readers to
Mhm.
um, help me with the process, which I actually felt alleviated a lot of the editing paralysis I get.
Mm. Mhm.
So when I write, I get to the editing stage, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't. It's like I don't want to tear my own book apart trying to edit
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
So I spoke to a couple of people that follow me on social media, and they read my books before, and they liked what they read. And I said, "Would you like to come on as a beta reader and help me go through what I've written and see what you think?" And so they came on. And they helped me, and it actually made it a lot less painful because other people were telling me you should get rid of this bit, so I didn't
Mhm.
have to rip the band-aid off. If I agreed if I agreed with the message, I'd be like, okay, sure, I understand, and take it away. And then from that, Fright
Mhm.
Manifest was born.
Yeah, I wondered when this one came about. I wasn't sure if it was your most recent or not. Okay, I
Yeah, so
thought so.
yeah, so
Another.
this is yeah, this is probably the most fun book I've
Oh,
written. It's like it's quite if people like gory and people
mhm.
like over the top, this will be good for you.
Check, check.
It's
All right.
it's not my typical. It's not. I've got a. I've got. Do you do Audible? Do you do
Yeah,
audiobooks?
yeah, yep, yep.
I've got a code for you
Oh,
that
nice.
I'll
Okay.
give you. I'll give you after the
Heck
show,
yeah.
so you can have a
I would
free
love
listen.
that. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so that is the most recent thing that people can get their hands on right now, which I'm really excited about. People are loving it. Like everyone, they they either really like it or they love it. It's kind of it's going really well. But
Hey, that's pretty good. I'll
yeah,
take either one of those as a writer, right? Like it or love it.
absolutely.
Well, that's good.
That's it. So but people are really giving positive feedback to that. Um, and then so I finished that, and I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a break until the new year. It didn't happen. So now I have a semi-finished. It's not finished, and it's not quite ready yet. But I've got a Christmas story
Ooh, I like
for
that.
people. Now, obviously, as I said at the beginning, I'm a horror author, so it's not a nice Christmas story.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it is going to be a festive themed Christmas story. Again, it's a novella. It's going to be about 180, 150 pages.
Mhm, mhm.
And it's probably the darkest story I've
Ooh,
written.
okay.
I decided to take away the shock factor of Fright Manifest, the really in your face,
Yeah.
um, like explosive issues that were going on with that, and I decided to peel back. I wanted to see if I was capable, because I'm new. Literally, I've been writing a few years, so I I wanted to see if I was capable of stripping it back and just doing a pure atmospheric dread story that make people feel uncomfortable. I wanted to see if I
Hmm.
was capable of that, and feedback so far, because I've got some beta readers reading what I've got, and
Nice.
some of the feedback that they've given me is like, well, it's the quote of the year. I think for me was, "This is the first book that's ever made me cry."
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was. Oh no, it was the first horror book that's ever made me cry, and I was
Okay.
like,
Oh
"Tick."
man. Yeah, that's pretty good feedback, especially
That is,
for horror. That's
yeah,
impressive.
yeah, because a lot of the time with horror, it's sort of you know, the gore is the
Yeah, yeah,
sort
yeah.
of
Hmm.
the target, and but the emotional side is, you feel a little bit bad sometimes, but
Yeah,
it's like, in Fright Manifest, there's a few people that you're glad are gone. Like, you're like,
yeah. You're like,
I
all right, that's not a big deal.
I wrote them to be like people going, "Oh, when is he going to kill that one?" But yeah,
Oh man, that's fair. That's fair. Um, well, that's pretty cool. I just changed the color of our by our names to because we're talking about Christmassy stuff. It just got me in the vibe.
hey,
I had to switch that up. Um, so that's pretty awesome, man. You're rocking and rolling. Well, I think then you probably agree with JA here. He said downtime sounds nice. I can't stop writing, and clearly you cannot either. You just
no,
keep rocking and
no,
rolling.
and J.A. Bryden, his his stuff, like, I'm a horror listener. I
Hmm.
listen to, I read, I love a physical book, but I don't often have time to sit down and open one.
Hmm. Yeah,
If I'm sat down with time on my hands, it tends to be on a keyboard. Um, but like, so I don't really consume much other than horror, which is a bit.
yeah,
However, I picked up J.A. Bryden's um, previous book. I'm not sure when he's dropping. Um, is it Destin?
oh
His
yeah,
next book,
yeah. Mhm.
but I thoroughly enjoyed. It is like a dystopian. It's just an incredible story. So again, if any of my followers are watching, check that out, because my lord, he can write a tale.
Oh heck yeah! There you go, JA. That's awesome. I know I got to check that out too. All his stuff sounds so good. I got to check it out.
Yeah,
Um,
he's got some funny stuff as well. He's got his
oh yeah, he does.
from the Emu Wars,
He says end of
end of
November.
November. It's going in my wish list basket.
Yes, yeah. The Emu War one. I really want to read that too. That sounds hilarious.
I I find it funny that they're using it as a reference book. Like,
Yeah,
like
I
that
know.
people in school, they're reading his book.
It's wild. That's wild. Timothy Wolf is here, another awesome indie author and Bearded Book Beast channel member. Thanks for being here, Timothy. Appreciate you, my friend. All right, so that's awesome, man. You've got a lot of cool books going on. Let's sidestep before I start asking you a lot of questions about your books. Let's talk about the covers because
Yes.
those are amazing. So walk us through how the process went for creating those covers for you and like finding cover artists or and all that, and because they all fit, I feel like they have this theme to them that you can tell they're one of your covers, but they're also different. But it's like that cool thing I really love with horror covers where it's kind of got like a whimsical, cool like look to it. It's not like straight up gory or whatever,
Yeah,
but they
absolutely.
still have the spooky vibe. But it's got like this cool just look that draws me in. Tell us about your covers a little bit.
So all of my covers are created by me. I haven't
You make all
had.
your covers?
Yeah, so all my
What?
covers are made by me. In a past life, I used to do a lot of art. I went to college
Okay.
for art.
How did I not
But
know this? How did I never ask you who did your
yeah,
covers?
no,
That's
no,
crazy. They're awesome, dude.
yeah. So, but the covers themselves are extremely simple
Hmm.
but effective. I used
Oh, yeah.
some very very simple principles to know that it would look aesthetically fine.
Hmm. Hmm.
But it's very very simple. So, like for instance, with Midnight Harvest,
I
it's
love it.
lit. It's literally a a circle with eyes with a crescent moon and a crucifix of sticks with some rags dropped over the front. Um, and then like some fading and some fake distressing on the cover,
Yep.
which
Yep.
kind of
Yep.
gives it a feel. And then these, you'll see these like
Yeah.
these corn stalks. These were actually a paintbrush on Photoshop
Oh.
that you can get, and you drag it
Cool.
across,
Yeah.
and it makes these corn stalks.
Man.
So it was very, very simple, and then obviously just quite a plain font. But the idea was to make everything quite dark, and then have the highlighted area. So this was almost a silhouette, and then
Oh,
have the two little creepy eyes which stare at you.
it looks
No
so good, man. You make it sound so easy.
so that was that, and then my next one, which was Whispers in the Woods. You'll see a
Mhm.
pattern.
I love that one. Yep. I'm starting to
So
see it now. That looks
so
so good though.
really plain trees that are copied and made lighter as they go towards the middle. Green was
Mhm.
the dominant color with the highlight. This silhouette here,
Yeah.
I literally drew up on Photoshop using a stylus. So I drew her, and there's some birds in the background, and then everything else is just sort of a dark area to attract your eyes to the center, which is her.
Okay, I don't know how it does this too. I love this. I need to get this physical copy ASAP because hold it up and it's like if you look at it and as you like move it a little bit, it totally looks 3D. Like it looks
Yeah,
like the girl is like and the birds
moving
it
around.
makes every yes. How
Yeah,
did you do that?
that that is more luck than judgment, I would say. But yeah, so that's, and then the back where you'll see the blurb.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
It's a softer version of the front, and
Okay.
I deleted the girl and the birds. That's the back.
It's still impressive. You can
Thank you.
try to make it sound as simple as you want. I'm still impressed.
And the theme continues, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we've
Oh
got
yeah, that I love that
dark,
one.
and then the focus is behind the plane, bright color behind the plane, and
Mhm,
the plane
mhm.
becomes almost a silhouette. The font in front, and obviously my name. I was told when I first started writing, I said, "How big should your name be on a book?
Oh yeah.
On your front cover, how big should you make your name?" And I was told by initially, if you're a famous author, then
Mhm.
your name should be the biggest thing on the page.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yep, yep,
So Stephen King, his it's
yep,
like a third of the page is his name,
yep,
and then whatever it's called is underneath, and then
yep.
the the less known you are. So when I first started, like Don Campbell is like
Oh
this
yeah.
bit here because no one
Yeah,
knows who I am, and then the name of the book is quite big,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
and then it got a little bit bigger for Whispers in the Woods because I thought some people know who I am now,
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
and now it's that's
Oh,
this
it's
big.
getting bigger. I like it. I like it. That's
So
cool.
by the time I turn 50, it's just going to say Don
It's
Camp. It's not. I'm not even going to have a title.
yes.
It's just going to be my name on the front of the book, and people will be like, "I'll buy it." That's what I'm
I'm
hoping.
buying it. Yep, yep. Shoot, with your design graphic design skills, you could probably work the title into your name somehow, like
Yeah,
within the openings of the
in the
letters
letters.
or something. Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be cool.
So the book that I'm working on now,
Mhm.
I have a cover, and I did not make it. So
Really?
it's the first cover that I didn't make,
Wow.
and the reason I didn't make it is
Uh-huh.
because I had an idea,
Yeah.
and it had something to do with a silhouette and a
Uh-huh.
um
Oh
but
yeah, yeah.
so the same sort of idea. I had an idea
Mhm.
for it, and I had put out that I needed beta readers for the new story,
Yeah.
and a friend of mine, that I didn't know does book covers, but
Hmm.
he reached out and said, "Can I make the cover for this book?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah, sure. You can make a design, and if I like it,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because." And he said, "Look, if you don't like it, I just because he was new." He
Hmm.
says, he's not going to charge me like the full price for it or whatever.
Yeah.
But if I don't
Yeah.
want to use it, he won't be offended. And I said, okay, look,
Hmm.
I'm happy for you to put it. And he did it, and it it has a very similar vibe to what I do. So he's obviously looked
Yeah.
at my previous stuff, but what he made was, I feel, better than I could have made. So I was like,
Oh
well,
man.
I've got to use it. So the cover reveal will be happening soon. But
Sweet. It's exciting.
yeah, so yeah, and I'll make sure he gets all the publicity in the world from it. But he did a very good job. I was extremely impressed. So
Wow.
it's definitely going to be the cover of the book. So that's exciting.
Oh man, that's cool. Well, we're gonna look forward to that cover reveal. That's gonna be awesome. All right, so I want to back up for a minute. First, I have to
Sure
ask
thing.
you something so I don't forget.
Hmm.
Being in the States here, I'm sure it's just called something different, but I want to know what's a caretaker at a school.
Janitor.
Okay, okay, that's what I thought that it
Yeah,
meant, but I wasn't
it
sure.
it's kind of a janitor. So I'm not sure, but from what I see on TV, because that's my
Yeah,
only reference for the US,
yeah,
um, is on TV a janitor tends to be like a cleaner, someone
hmm,
that cleans the school.
yeah.
Where I don't actually do any cleaning.
Yeah.
There's a cleaning team that do the cleaning.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I'm in charge of sort of health and safety. I'm in
Oh,
charge
okay.
of making sure anything broken. I fix broken
Yeah.
things.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and I am the person who makes sure the everyone's safe. So make
Okay.
sure that the equipment's safe. Um, a lot of my role is admin, like
Yeah.
making sure that inspections are done and that
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I
in
don't know what
essence,
that. I don't know what they're called here, but yeah, they're not. What you do isn't called a janitor then here either. I don't know really what, but I do know that position exists at schools, but
yeah,
it's not called caretaker. I don't know what they call them. But anyway, that's interesting. Okay. How long have you been
yeah.
doing that for?
So I've been doing that for 5 years. Five
Wow. Okay.
years? 5 years. My wife says it's 5 years.
And well, then it's probably 5 years then.
So it's
Uh,
definitely 5 years. She's definitely she runs my diary, so she'll know
yeah.
how long I've been doing something or how long I should be doing
She
something.
knows. She knows all the things. Trinity says the one at her school is called a caretaker. I know custodian. You are the don of caretakers. Yes, there we go. I like that. So yeah, like in elementary school, a custodian it kind of does that, fixes things, makes sure everything's good, and then like maybe does a little like maybe they are kind of in charge of the people they clean, but they don't do a lot of
Mm.
cleaning themselves. But anyway, I was just interested to know what that meant because
Yeah,
caretaker. It always makes me, even though it's not. I always think of Undertaker
Undertaker. Yeah,
because, and I'm
100%.
like, oh man. But okay, very cool. Now,
So a similar job, which is quite funny. Just to before Stephen King was an author,
oh
he was
yeah,
a school janitor.
yeah, he
So
was.
I was like, yeah, I'm following the in
You
big
are.
footprints.
I like it. That's good, man. Well, I mean, it sounds like every book, is getting bigger. Your name's getting bigger on every book, so you're on your way. So that's
That's it.
cool. Um, now, I want to go back to Whispers in the Woods because I thought that was so interesting what you talked about with the kind of the vision and the dreams that you had that for the baddie in that book. Now, can you, without, is it too spoilery for you to tell us anything about those visions or
No,
dreams
no,
in the
no.
baddie? Like, I'm just
Yeah.
curious. Like, how
So
did? Go ahead.
yeah. So I'll give you a little bit of background.
Hmm.
So the it's based in a fictional village called Oakhaven. Now, Oakhaven is basically a carbon copy of the village I live in.
Hmm.
It's easier to write what you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so the village is based here effectively, and the baddie, he's referred to as the Dark Man in the book.
Okay.
That's what they know him as.
Yeah.
He is a entity that resides in the woods, and he basically, children aren't allowed in there. Everyone avoids the woods.
Yeah.
It's one of those really dark, horrible places where no innocent people should be traveling into, which is the polar opposite to the woods where I live. The woods where I live is a haven for people to go on adventures. You walk through there at any time. There's children building forts. There's people jogging, people walking their dogs, and people gravitate towards the woods here.
Hmm.
Where I wanted to make it completely opposite. I wanted to
Yeah.
make it somewhere where people try and stay away from. They don't want to be in the shadow of the woods when the sun starts to set. So the bad guy is an unknown menace
Hmm.
that has been, like, the book starts off with, you find out pretty early on within the first couple of chapters that he requests sacrifice over a period of time. So
Okay.
in order to keep the village safe, the elders of the village feel that they need to provide a sacrifice to him in order to keep the village safe. And the story starts to unfold. Now, because it was my first large long form book that's more than a couple of hundred pages, I could really go into the depth of different characters, and they all have their own story. And I feel that you can explore the village through the children, and the story is really about them more than the bad guy, because the bad guy was the reason for the start of it. But I just wanted to, I made these people, and then I wanted to sit with these people a while. I didn't want to just throw them into a
Hmm.
bad environment. I wanted to sit with them
Yeah.
a while, and I wanted to get to know them through the writing before I put them in a horrible position.
Hmm.
So, so although they experience elements of it, they don't necessarily have to deal with anything huge too early on.
Hmm.
But yeah, so my real focus is trying to get the the energy of the children along. I've already started with playing with the idea of a prequel where it will
Ooh,
focus
okay.
on so it will focus on the parents of the
Oh,
children when they
nice.
were young. So
Okay.
it's like what they went through first. And it's literally just opened up a whole world. But
Yeah.
I have stole the idea slightly from Mr. King,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Oakhaven is my village, and a lot of my stories either involve someone that's from there,
Hmm.
um, or is based there but not associated with the main storyline. So although the village is the same, they'll pass the butchers, and the butcher's name is the same, and they'll speak to Mr. Wainwright as they walk down the road. But so you will, if you follow through my stories, you will have Easter eggs all over the place, even if it's something to do with, in one book, someone witnesses a car crash, and in another book, they hear a car crash
Oh,
and they
that's
hear the
cool.
sirens turn up. So I enjoy weaving the stories
Hmm.
together. I've got a physical and digital timeline of the town. So if I put a
Oh,
story in, I'll have a rough idea. Actually, this was supposed to happen there, so people will experience the books pass each other effectively.
Oh, dude, that's so awesome. That was going to be my next question if they were related in any way. And that sounds like a pretty awesome way that you're relating everything. That's so cool.
And the stories are completely separate. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a bit like, I don't know if you guys have it there, Midsummer Murders. Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of that. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, so it's basically like a little town, and the TV show is on all the time, and someone dies. But this town has like 1,000 people. It's like no one would ever go there. But
Right.
like, and it's the same detective solves all the crimes. But it's like, why is there 1,000 deaths in this little village?
Yeah.
And how is there still a population? But it's similar in that regard, where although the town is the same, and there is elements where you see one story doesn't necessarily affect the other story.
Mhm.
They just like strangers walking past each other.
That's so cool, man. Now, was that something you wanted to do from the start when you first started writing like your short stories and the Whispers in the Woods, or was it something you kind of clicked as you were doing it like, oh, this would be cool if I did this?
Well, because I was writing the main story, I had the
Yeah.
town, and I thought
Hmm.
like I wanted to make it like a you get like fantasy novels are
Oh yeah.
sort of like this thick, and they explore every possible thing that could happen, and I was like, oh, I could just make like a huge horror novel, and then just through my experience and looking around, they don't make those really, you know,
Right. Yeah. They really
unless
don't.
it's
You're
like
right.
unless it's like Stephen King's It,
Yeah.
that's quite thick. Um,
Yeah.
but in some people say it's too big. It doesn't need to
Yeah.
be as large as it is.
Right. Yeah.
So I didn't want to force too much into that just so I could enjoy my village.
Hmm.
So I was just writing the Whispers in the Woods, and I was happy with that. And then I wrote some short stories, and one of my characters, I needed a town they were from, like, because the things I struggle with, and I did put it out onto social media, and it's still open, I think.
Hmm.
It's a Google form, and
Oh yeah.
you can go on and register on it, and it's called "I Will Literally Kill You." And the idea is that people will go in, they'll donate their name
Hmm.
to me, along with they'll explain one of their fears, and they will tell me a little bit about themselves. And I don't guarantee I'll use their fear as their death,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
if it fits quite well, then it might be a case, if you're scared of bees and I've got
Yeah.
someone that's going to be killed by lots of bees, then
You're
chances
the
are
guy.
you're the guy. Um, so I was like, right, okay, so I struggle with people names, to come up with unique ones, because
Hmm.
otherwise everyone is Bill. Do you know what I mean? It's just like names I struggle with,
Yeah.
without completely stealing my friends' names, and then I feel bad because I've killed them. Um, so I put it out. So names and places, like where should I put this? Where should this person be
Mhm.
from? I know I want them to come from a rural environment or a
Yeah.
city,
Hmm.
and then obviously city. I'm English, so city. You go, oh, they're from London. It's
Yeah.
easy. It's easy as that. I'm from London. Now, if you want it to be slightly greener, you're like, okay, they're from Surrey. And I could pick any of the towns around here. But when I was writing the short stories, I think in a couple of the stories, I was like, where can I take the person from? I want them to be from sort of a green area. And I was like, oh,
Mhm.
I'll just take them they're from Oakhaven.
Yeah.
I've made the town. They might as well be from there. So I put them in there. And then that was quite fun. And I was like, oh, maybe people will understand that if someone's read Whispers in the
Yeah.
Woods, they might see Oakhaven and go, oh. And it's one of those things that if you type into Google Oakhaven, there's no place. There's a couple of companies called Oakhaven, but there's not a place. And most two things you type in together, whether it's like, I don't know, like Pine Hollow, there's a
Yeah.
place that's actually called Pine Hollow, but
Right. Yeah.
Oakhaven, there is no place called it. So
Wow.
eventually it should become
Just that.
like just like it's like Stephen King's Derry.
Yeah.
if you type in Derry, like Derry into thing, you'll get two results, one from Ireland and one is his, and his one always comes up first.
Yep.
And Derry's a real place,
Yeah.
like in Ireland. So, but
Right.
he manages to monopolize that. So I was thinking that would be quite cool. So then as my stories develop, I'm like, oh, I could have a character that's from there or that has driven through there. And like most writers, I'm sure that a lot of your listeners would agree is I've got so many projects that are in different stages of production.
Hmm.
So I've got some that, and yeah, if once they're all ready, I could probably develop like a map that people like a Don's universe where you can see, oh, well, he walked past and he met that person there, and that's their connection, and you'll be able to have like a
Oh,
web of. So that's what I'm hoping for eventually, is to have like something that real fans can get
yeah.
excited about seeing, you know, the red haired guy cross the road, and then he goes into the pub, and then in another book, the guy's sat in a pub and a red haired guy walks in, and it's going to be
Oh,
like a flippant comment, but real fans will be able to pick up on it eventually.
that's so cool. I love that, man. That gets me excited about it. That's really cool. Now, my mind just went blank because I was thinking about what you just said. Oh, so is there like an order that you recommend to your stuff? Since there is little connections, can people read it in any way, or do you recommend like starting with the short story collection, then doing Whispers in the Woods, then doing like as you publish them, or does it not matter?
I don't think it matters at all. Like I said, the stories are not actually connected. So,
Right.
like, you will be able to, if there is a little connection, like a little crossing over, you'll be able to, you'll find it both
Either
directions.
one.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, either way. But there's not like a timeline involved. Now, I would say that I would recommend that people were to read Whispers in the Woods
Hmm.
before my my project that I've got planned comes
Okay.
out. The
Yeah.
project I've got planned is going to be called Oakhaven. That's all it's going to be called.
Nice.
Um,
Okay.
I I was going to say it was going to be Welcome to Oakhaven, but I thought that's
Yeah.
taking a bit too much of a liberty.
Too much on
Um,
the nose.
yeah, so it's just called Oakhaven, and that's
Mhm.
what was going to be the idea behind it, which I think you'll dig. Is it's going to be 12 novella size or short novella sized
Yes.
episodes
Yes.
that are going
Yeah.
to be released 1 week apart for 12
That's so
weeks.
cool. Hmm.
It's going to have like a Netflix feel. So, you read the first one and then you have to wait until the following Friday before the next one's out to read
Yeah.
that one. Now, there's two ways it could go wrong for me. Is one is that people won't want to wait and they'll lose interest and they'll move on to a different book that they're reading and they won't come back to read the next episode. I'm hoping it's interesting enough that makes them want to come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but there's always the option of binning off my whole theory of doing Netflix style, waiting for the next
Yeah.
episode to come in. But just like Netflix, if you don't want to do that, wait 12 weeks and binge it. You can read
Just
them
yeah.
all.
Yeah.
So they'll all be available. It's not like the first one's going to disappear when the second one comes out.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So they'll all be available. It's all going to be digital. So and especially initially, there's not going to be a physical copy. I might do like a box set later that people can have, and they'll have like all the, and then maybe the spines will make a picture, that kind of like novelty thing. But the idea is that I would recommend reading Whispers in the Woods before that. Although that's going to be a prequel, there's it's just going to be more enjoyable noticing character flaws from Whispers in the Woods and then going, oh, so that's where it's from, because now I can see this is a parent issue. There's
Okay.
also there's also a couple of things that I had when I was writing Whispers in the Woods. It was like I said, it was potentially going to be a much longer book, and I half explained some things in it, not huge elements, but half
Yeah.
explain, or there'll be something said that doesn't, let's, if people are paying attention, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but then it will make sense once you once you read Oakhaven. You'll be like, oh, so that's why he referred to it as this. And it's like, yes, that's why he. But it did exist already. It's just I never put it in the book, and then I didn't think it was a big enough deal to have to remove it because I was going to explain it later.
Yeah.
So some people were like, "What does this mean?" Like people will DM me on Instagram and be like,
Yeah.
"What's this about?" And then I'll just send them a picture of a clock and just be like, "Wait, you have to wait."
There you go. I like that. I think that's a really cool idea, man. I'm excited. I remember we talked about that now, and that I'm excited for that because I think, at least from my perspective as a reader, like there's just so many books to read and so many long books that we all want to read. Like something like that is just so cool because you can, you can just focus on that one part, that one short book, and then another one's coming the next week. And I think that's awesome. It's a great way for people to break up whatever they're reading, to take a break from the bigger books, and just to be. I'm excited because I think if we can, I'll help when the time comes. Hopefully, we can all help promote it too. Because I feel like that's something that would be so fun in the bookish space, is to have this community of people getting excited about each episodic thing coming out and talking about it and talking with you about it, and just having that community and going through that, I think would be really fun. So I'm excited for that, man. I think that's a genius idea, and I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to go well.
Oh, I appreciate that. No, I kind of got a bit of the idea. My wife was last year at Christmas.
Hmm.
She had it was like an Advent book, and
Oh
you
yeah.
get it,
Mhm.
but you buy the whole book, and then you're meant to read a chapter a day
Yep.
for
Yep.
for leading up to Christmas,
Yeah.
and then on
Yeah.
Christmas there's a big reveal.
Yeah.
So I like the idea that when she would read a chapter, and then she'd be like, "Oh, I have to stop," and you could see everything in her was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I want to read the
Keep
next
going. Yeah.
chapter."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But what it did is it actually built a community around it. So
Yeah.
she on Facebook, there was everyone was reading it in the same time, and they were talking about each chapter. It basically become a book club. They were
Yep.
talking about each chapter. What do you think is going to happen next? I think it's going to be this, and it was quite a not. So I think doing an episodic thing, what I do is I force people to have the same pace. So for a week they can talk about what
Yep.
they've just read, and
Yeah.
they can think about what happened. A friend of mine said, "Oh, don't write it all. What to do is write 6 of the 12 episodes, put it out, and then just follow these social medias and see what people think is
Decide
going to
what you want
happen
to
and
do.
make it not happen." I was
I
like,
love
I can't
that.
write that quickly. It
No, yeah, no, you got to plan out a little more ahead of time too.
would have to be a
Oh
month ahead or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. That would be funny though to do it that way. But yeah, that would be hard. To quick. Oh, all right, here we go. I got to get this done by next week.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm excited. That's awesome, dude. You have so many great things going on. And yeah, I'm just pumped for you, dude. All right, so I have some questions about, you talked about your ideas for the story and getting into writing them and everything, but I have some questions about kind of your journey before that point. But before we do that, you know what's coming. I have some dad jokes for you, my friend. Are you
Let's
ready
have
for
them.
these?
Let's have them.
All right, all right. Let me pull them up here. One of them is really good, and the other one is all right. But I always start with the less funny one first. So here we go. Um, Actually, I'm going to do two of them in here. Okay. So first one is, um, hold on, I got to find it. The writing's really small and I have to zoom in because I can't see anything. All right. So here we go. Why? This is actually a good one because of your book cover for Whisper in the Woods. Why shouldn't you trust trees?
Why shouldn't you trust trees? I don't know. Why shouldn't you trust trees?
Because they can be real shady.
That's so bad.
All right, this
Oh,
one's even better. All
that's-
right, yeah, this one I'm really excited about. All right. So the other day I was talking to my wife, and she keeps saying that she wants to go try out acupuncture and go to an acupuncturist, and I keep saying no, and she's like, "Why not?" And I'm like, "I don't trust them." They're a bunch of backstabbers.
That is good. Yeah, right.
Come on, yes, yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah. That's good. That's good. All right, so take us back to when you were just little Don, and I just want to know, like, what were some of the things that got you big into reading and into horror, and when did you start writing? Like, had before your friend told you they weren't going to write that book, had you written it all before then? Just kind of walk us through that up to that point.
yeah. So I'd played with the idea of this exact book
Yeah.
um for years and years and years.
Mhm.
Little Don, I'll go back all the way back. So,
Yeah.
like a lot of horror fans, I was exposed to horror probably a little bit earlier than I should have been.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I enjoyed like Goosebumps, that kind of thing. So
Mhm.
the lighter side of things, and my parents didn't really care what I watched.
Mhm.
So it went from that to Freddy Krueger quite quickly.
Yeah.
So like Nightmare on Elm Street was a staple. I loved how scared that made me. I think part of my makeup is not being able to discern between fear and adrenaline, like fun.
Mhm.
Um, so but getting scared gives me like for instance, my wife, she hates being scared. Like
Mhm.
the idea of being scared upsets her. She's like, why would you choose to be scared? But for me, it gives a little bit of excitement, and it's like a roller coaster. So my brain can't work out the difference between the two. So I
Mhm.
like getting scared. Now, obviously, the older we get and the more we consume, the more numb we become to what we're consuming.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
we can go back and watch Nightmare on Elm Street now,
Yeah.
and I don't think you would watch Nightmare on Elm Street now and be scared. You would
Yeah.
appreciate the horror. Appreciate the special effects. Them working whatever they had at the time. They're doing a great job.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's no. It's hard to get scared of it. So you start to try and escalate what you're watching in order to. It's a bit like a drug addict, isn't it? You have to take more of the drug
Yeah.
to to get the same high, if you like.
Mhm.
So, but what I found is when I started to read and listen to books, my imagination, from what I was being given by an author, my
Mhm.
imagination would create something scarier than I could really watch on TV. Um, I think if you've seen a lot of scary stuff, your brain
Yeah.
has a base that's quite scary, and then your imagination can push it just over that, so you can make it. So I'll be reading something or listening to something and be like, wait, no, wait, and I'll have to stop it, or I'll have to close the button and be like, that is dark.
Mhm.
Um, I was listening to someone talking, an author talking, and I can't remember who it was that said it, but someone was talking, and they said the most magical thing when you read is opening a book and someone is describing something that you have felt, and you thought you were the only one that felt that,
Hmm.
and now it's on a page,
Yeah.
and they've managed to describe something that you thought was really personal of yours. It's one of the most beautiful things and I think the emotions that you go through in a horror
Mhm.
book can it can be all of them.
Mhm.
It crosses so many genres. It's not just spooky. You get romance in horror books. You get action in horror books. You get comedy in horror. Like it allows you to experience all the things in one place. Where as soon as horror's part of something, it is now a horror something. Where if it was a love story,
Mhm.
but there was a bit of horror in it. It's now a horror story. It's that
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah.
just it doesn't stay romance. It's now
Yeah.
horror because the guy got his arm cut off by a well by a werewolf. So now it's a
Yeah. Yeah.
horror. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
So, but I think horror is such a big balloon. So, it's easy to stay in it and be able
Hmm.
to still experience all the beautiful things in writing. But I remember I used to watch, like I said, Nightmare on Elm Street. That was one of my big ones. All the classics, so,
Yep.
like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Michael
Yes.
Myers, like
Yep.
Friday
All
the
the ones.
13th, all
Yeah.
of them. And I used to
Love
love
those
all of
too.
those.
Hmm.
And I remember my brother, he showed me It, Stephen King's It,
Hmm.
and he said, "Look," he said to my mum, it's not as bad as what he watches anyway." And he was right,
Right.
because it's, like Freddy Krueger is significantly more gory than,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Very.
especially the original It.
Yeah.
Like, but she was like, "Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that you should watch it."
Yeah.
So I started reading the book,
Wow. Okay.
which you shouldn't do
No.
as someone that's young, because it's
Uh,
have you read the book?
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's 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 not really the same as
No.
the film.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I luckily I didn't get all the way through it because it's such a big
You didn't
chunk,
get to the end. That's good.
or the really bad bit in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't get to that scene.
Yeah.
But
That's
but
interesting.
yeah, well, I don't know what he was thinking, to be honest. Even like
I don't even think he
that
knows what he was thinking.
yeah, that's even beyond my, yeah. I couldn't write that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I said to my mum, "Oh, well, I've read it. I haven't read it. I've read
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
of it." And she,
Yeah.
so I might as well be able to watch it. So then she was like, "Fine, let him watch it. He really wants to watch it." And then yeah, that was a mistake. I've still got a very very bad clown phobia.
Oh, me too,
So
man.
um, however, I'm not scared of scary clowns. So like things
Regular
like
ones.
Art the Clown, I'm fine with.
Yeah.
Uh, Pennywise, I'm fine with, really, especially the new Pennywise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Curry's Pennywise, I still don't feel quite comfortable seeing him.
Yeah.
He makes me feel
Yeah.
uncomfortable. But yeah, clowns, normal clowns that you would get in a normal
Hmm.
circus, I
Yeah.
can't be around them. I can't. I have to leave.
Yeah.
I've walked out of situations where went to a theme park or something, and I've got to go the other way,
Yeah.
because and I don't know how I'm going to react. Like,
Yeah.
I might lash out at this thing if he comes too close to me, and I won't be. I need to be sensible and leave, because I don't know.
Yeah. You want to get yourself into trouble.
Yeah, imagine that.
Oh,
I get fired from. Why did he get fired from work? Because he's got a police record now for hitting a clown.
beating up a clown. Yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah, and they have a circus that comes to the school
Oh, lovely, lovely.
sometimes, and it's like the clown cannot come out of the tent. They're not allowed out of the tent. Just keep them in there. I don't
Yeah,
want to see them.
don't only let people in there that want to see the clowns. um, so Trinity said she could relate to your wife and about not being scared. My wife's like that too. But then she just said you probably wouldn't be the first one to have something on your record for punching a clown. So I think a
Yeah,
lot of us hate those clowns. So
there should be a
man,
disclaimer, shouldn't there, that you're allowed, like, but you're only allowed to
yeah,
hit one a year.
yes, yes. So you should be allowed at least one, at least one. Oh
Yeah,
man, that's awesome. So yeah, so then you came by horror naturally. Then you had
yeah.
all the inspirations to get you into horror. So yeah, that's now. Do you think that watching all of those movies and reading those books and all of that, do you think that contributed to those like dream nightmares and visions that you would always have of the dark man?
The I I think there's probably someone that could dismantle the
Yeah.
dream. Well, I
Oh
could
yeah.
tell you the dream. I'll tell you the dream. That's probably the easiest way. So the dream starts off that I'm walking in the woods,
Hmm.
um, and it's like a completely normal day. It's not the woods doesn't look. They don't look scary. They're just the woods.
Yeah.
And as I'm walking, it seems like the sun sets, so it's starting to get a bit darker and gloomier. and then I
Mm.
hear something behind me, and I turn around, and it's just a figure. It's just the shape
Ah,
of
mm.
a person. So I would. This is the first time I had the dream. I saw it
Yeah.
and was like, "What's that?" And then it slowly starts making its way towards me. So I walk back, and it's matching me step for step. So I can't get any further away from it.
Mm.
So then I break into a run, and I get followed. And it chases me, and I trip over. I turn round, and then
Oh,
it's above
Lord.
me. And then that's that. I would wake
Ah.
up. That was the dream. But it happened so often that I began to realize it was a dream.
Yeah.
So
Even
I would,
even in your dream, you realize it was a dream. Wow.
and right at the beginning as well. It wasn't like,
Oh
realizing
yeah.
halfway through. It would be like I would wake up in the woods.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh
Not
no.
this again. Oh man.
And but
That's crazy.
I started trying different things.
Man. That
So
sounds like you're going to like dream world or something. That's wild.
I was like, I try and fight back. Tried to turn right. Tried to turn left. Tried to run past. Like
Dang.
I kept on trying different things, and
Yeah.
eventually, what would happen is I started getting to a point where I think my brain just thought, oh, well, you're faster at running now. So I would get further away, and I would get
Mm.
out of the woods. But the woods would there'll be a clearing. I would get out of the woods, and then it would be like clear space, and then
Yeah.
a edge of a cliff.
Ah.
So I'm like, so I'd run up to the edge of the cliff. I would turn around,
And
and
there.
they're there.
Mm.
Occasionally, they would take their hood down, and they would be different people.
Oh wow.
So it'd be like people that had scared, like a man at the bus stop that scared me, or it would be, you know, like a teacher that shouted at me. Do you know what I mean? It would be that kind of thing. It would come back as that. And then sometimes I'd try and jump off the cliff so I could get away from it. But then I would wake up having a falling dream, you know, like where
Oh
you
yeah.
fall. So then
Yeah.
and that wasn't nice. So I was like, I don't want to fall off the cliff anymore, because then I wake up not being able to breathe. And then sometimes it would push me off the cliff. So
Mm.
yeah, it was, but there was no way around it. It was just every time it happened. By the end, it was just I'll just curl into a ball and be like, it'll get me soon.
Like just get it over with. Yeah.
Come on.
God, that's devastating, man. Like, how did you consistently have this, or would you have breaks for a long time where you didn't have it?
I would have periods of time where I would have it every day, but
Wow.
and then that would last for a couple of weeks, and then I would have, but I would go to sleep, have the nightmare, wake up, and then go to sleep, and it wouldn't happen again. So it
Okay.
wasn't like I couldn't go back to sleep because it was going to
Yeah.
happen again. It would only
Yeah.
seem to happen once a night, and then sometimes it would be like once a week, and then as I got into sort of teenage years, it would be if I'd had a very stressful,
Mm.
like a very stressful week, like
Yeah.
I think GCSE, like the exams or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then that week I would start having it again. It was like my mind had got weak, and now
Yeah.
I'm suffering the consequences of the weak mind. Um,
Dang.
yeah, and then it went away forever. Like, so I actually, it's going to sound really soppy, and my wife will probably see this anyway. But so when I met my wife, when we
Yeah.
first met, and the first night that we stayed in a bed together, like in our own bed, we moved
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
together. The first day we stayed in the bed together, like the whole like weeks running up to it, I'd been having this
Mm.
nightmare, and I think it was just the stress of moving or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the first night I got into bed, I went to sleep, and it didn't happen. And then I was like, oh, that was nice. I didn't have the nightmare. And then after about a couple of months, it was like, oh, it's still not happened.
Yeah.
And then it never happened again. So that was probably we were like 19 or something.
Wow.
And
That's crazy.
and then it never. I'm 30. I'm 39 now. I just have to work it out. That's really bad, isn't it? So
That's how it goes.
so
The older you get, you don't want to know how old you are. You don't pay attention anymore.
but so effectively, for effectively for 20 years, I I never had the dream. About
Hmm.
18 years, I never had the dream at all. But I always had the idea of writing it, and I'd
Yeah.
write bits and I'd write scenes on pieces of paper, and they would never make their way into anything other than
Yeah.
just scribbles. But then when I started writing it properly, yeah, I went to bed one night. The first scene where you encounter him properly, I was like, it is him. It's definitely him. Like I've explained him well enough that it's him. And then
Uh,
I remember going to bed thinking, well, at least he's out now. I've
yeah.
got
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
out. My sister, but yeah, that
Mhm.
no, that it didn't work like that. I went to sleep and I woke up in my dream and I'm stood in the woods. I'm
Oh.
like, no, but instantly I was like, no way, like I'm back here. And then
uh,
every time I wrote at night about write that, I would go to bed and I'd have a bit of a bad night, and then so then I started breaking it up, and that's how the short stories came to life. Is like I was giving myself
wow.
permission to not write that for a night.
That's wild, man. What a crazy like lifelong thing you've been dealing with. That's nuts. Ah.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I was talking to a film producer
Hmm.
on Instagram about it. I sent him like a free copy. I think I gave him the audiobook so he didn't have to
Hmm.
read it. If he's not a
Yeah.
reader, he can just listen to it. So I sent him the audiobook, and so he was listening to it and he goes, "Oh, he thinks it would make a good movie."
Oh
So
yeah.
I was like maybe the movie would fix me.
Yeah. Right. There we go. So one of these things has got to do it.
Yeah, someone's got to do the trick.
Oh man, that's awesome though. That's I mean, hey, way to use something like that as inspiration for something cool, you know? That's
Yeah,
the way to do it.
absolutely. Well, it's a bit more mean than that. I thought if I've got to go through it, everyone else has got to read it. So
That's right. Now we're all gonna have the dream.
yeah,
Oh
enjoy.
man. Yeah, there you go. Oh man. All right, we had some more people pop in the chat. I'm gonna shout them out here. We got Daniel from the Fantasy and Sci-Fi Fanatics podcast. What's up, man? Thanks for being here. And El Montague is here. He's working, but he's still listening. We appreciate you, man. And hopefully you don't get in trouble at work. All right, so next I have some. Well, first we're coming up past an hour. Do you have a little more time? Because I know by you it's after 10 now.
Sure.
Okay, okay. I got some a few writing process questions, and then just a couple fun questions for us to get to know you outside of writing at the end. But before we do the writing process ones, every day on the channel I do a question of the day, and I like to ask my guest what their answer would be. So today I said, if you were cursed to be a creature of the night and you had to consume one of these three things to stay alive, which one would you choose? Blood, brains, flesh, or would you just be like, nope, I'm just gonna rot away and off myself. I'm not doing any of those things. What would you pick?
I would probably go blood. I
Blood?
think that I definitely wouldn't let myself die. I'm not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no. Everyone else can go first. It's fine. So I would probably go blood only because blood regenerates quite
Mm,
easily. It wouldn't really, if as long as I was nice about it, which I
yep,
don't know how
yep.
long I would be nice about it because I'd be a vampire. So
Right,
eventually,
right.
eventually you stop caring. But
Yeah.
and especially initially, you could probably get away with getting satiated without having someone have permanent
Mm-hmm.
problems. Brain is obviously that's
Right.
your
That's the tough.
someone's like that that's curtains, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're dead from that.
They're not
Um,
coming back from that.
no, and then flesh, someone's going to end up pretty badly disfigured
Oh yeah.
from the from the sirloin you take off them. So I think blood, just because it would be the least impactful, and I could probably do it for the longest period of time without getting caught.
I like that. Very efficient thinking and thinking of others. That's. I love that. I love that.
Well,
I
no, I
love
think thinking of others would be to let myself rot. But
that. That's true. That's true. But I mean, if you're gonna survive, you're doing it the best way possible, right?
yeah, it's like the vegetarian version
Yes. There you
of
go.
monsters. I'm not going to go full vegan because then, but
True.
yeah, the
There you go.
vegetarian version.
I like it. I like it. All right. Okay. So first question. On For authors, there's a spectrum of, pantser on one side where you just sit down and write. You don't plan anything out. Versus platter on the other side. You plot everything out. You have a novel of an outline for your book. You transfer over and you don't change anything. Where do you fall in there? Do you fall somewhere in the middle, or do you lean towards one way or the other?
So I I heard of this sort of polar
Mm-hmm.
experience. So the pantser or the plotter, and
Yep.
what I tend to do is I come up with a rough story idea. I'll come up with a bad situation. So whether that's a monster or whether that's just a horrible situation to be in, I come up with a
Mm-hmm.
horrible situation, and then so I know what that is. And normally with those situations, I've kind of got an idea of what the end is going to be
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of it is unavoidable or unescapable. It's just
Yeah.
sort of a situation, and then I will create characters that I like or don't like, but it'll be very deliberate. I'll either
Yeah.
make them people I really like. A lot of the time it's a combination of both. I want someone that's polarizing. You hate them, but you can see some humanity in them, or you just hate them, or you love them. I try and just get a mixture of characters, and I put them in the situation,
Mm-hmm.
and then I let them, as I write, I let them tell me how it goes. There
I
was
like.
there was times where I wrote something and I got all the way through, and I really liked one of my characters.
Yeah.
It's a short story. It's not out yet. It's going to be in the next Midnight Harvest
Okay.
volume.
Nice.
Um, so every now and then I'll write a short story and just drop it into that file that
Yep.
lives there
Yep.
now. That's going to be part of the Midnight Harvest pool.
I like it.
But so I wrote a story and I really liked the character, and it was a horrible situation I put them in. I'm trying not to spoil. And I put them in a really horrible situation, and it went on and on and on. I liked the character so much that I got to the end and I was like, they've got to survive. I like them too much because like how great I made them. They were such a nice character. And I got to the end and I realized that I was like, no, they've got to die. Like I like them so much. I want them to live so much that I was going to write them living. So for that reason, they can't. Like so, sometimes the story is the dominant force,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
like so for the overall experience of the story. But most often, it's the characters will dictate how we get to the end. So I guess somewhere in the middle. I've got a rough idea of the storyline, but I don't just write and write. It's actually the individual something and be like, oh, he wouldn't say that. Like
Yep.
I genuinely experience myself going, he wouldn't say. What do you mean he wouldn't say that? I wrote him. If I wanted to say it, I could
Right.
write it. But
Yeah.
you feel you're being this untruthful
Yeah.
to the real to the him as a person.
Right.
He
That
wouldn't
you
say that.
created. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's a real person now, and he wouldn't say that, so he can't. He's not going to say that.
Yep. That's
Um,
cool.
and you have to stick to it. You have to stick to what
Mhm.
they would say because
Yeah.
when you want someone to seem slightly off, just slightly out of character, if you flippantly made them be really nice and really horrible and
Yeah.
do all weird thing, when you do want the slight nuance of a look that lasted a bit too long, or you
Yeah.
know, him squaring off to someone when he's been meek the whole time, that stands out. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to waste it on just writing nonsense.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah,
I love it. I think that's the best way to do it. Like knowing where you're going, so you don't get stuck or whatever, but then allowing the characters to be alive and kind of lead the way. I feel like that's just an authentic way to do it. It makes the story, as a reader, you feel that, because nothing takes me out of a story more than if you're reading something and you get to know these characters, and then you're like, they wouldn't have done that. That doesn't seem right. I can't believe they did that. Something like that. So I think you're doing it the right way. I think that's the way to do it.
And to me, once I've written something and you
Hmm.
buy it, it's yours.
Right.
It's yours to do with it, like to think of it as you want. It's yours. So, like, the idea that you would pick something up and go, "Oh, he wouldn't do that," means a lot
Yeah.
to me because it means you have made that character your own, and
Yeah, that's
you
true.
you see him in the way that you want to see him, and
Hmm.
it's beautiful.
It is.
I find that there's magic to that. There's you because effectively as a writer you've made a person.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Like then they're
You're
not
like
flesh.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, you created a person
Yeah.
with flaws and a story, and you want and you take care of them as you write with them. And sometimes you have to kill them. Sometimes they don't get out the other end, and
Yeah.
it makes you sad sometimes when you have to do it because you realise it's what would have happened. Um, the other thing is, well, I don't know if any other authors do it, but so if I'm writing and I get stuck at a point, I'm like, I don't know where to
Yeah.
go from here, but I know where I want it to end up after whatever's going to happen here. I'll
Yeah.
start just to write that bit. I'll leave the bit I don't know
Hmm.
and be like, okay, we'll leave that, and then we'll go there. And eventually, you start writing that, and you're like, well, that would explain it. Okay, I can use some of that here. So,
Yeah.
like, if I was to give someone like a first draft of something I wrote, it would there'd be gaps in it. There's sometimes like I'll have like a full chapter one, two, three,
Hmm.
and then chapter four will be like they travel to the shop. That's chapter four. Chapter five is a full chapter, and then I'll go back and fill in chapter four. But if someone read it, they'll be like, "That's the shortest chapter that ever lived. It's like 4 words."
Hmm. Yeah.
But it's just a placeholder for what I'll revisit later on. So
I
yeah,
like
so
that.
I do a bit of everything.
Yeah, that's good. I feel like that's and you got to do what works for you, and you got to make sure writing stays fun and enjoyable too, right? So I think
Absolutely.
that's a good way to do it. All right, next question. When you're working on a project or a book, are you somebody that sets like weekly, daily, monthly word goals or page goals or chapter goals, or are you somebody that just writes and like, I'll write when it works, I'll write when I want, and it'll get done? What do you do with
Yeah.
making sure you get something done on time?
Yeah. So luckily, where I'm an indie author and I have a full time job,
Yeah,
this, to be honest, and I shouldn't really say it because obviously I like the fact that people buy my books, but if no one bought them, I would still write them.
yeah,
Do you know, if I sold three of each book, then
yeah,
I'd still write them. It's not
yeah.
like I wouldn't write the stories. I enjoy writing them. It's a
Mhm.
hobby of mine. Um, but what it does mean is if I've got a holiday to go on, or if I've got a busy week with the kids, we've got
Mhm.
gymnastics to go to, and then we've got scouts, and I'm not going to get tired. I'm not going to beat myself up over not
Yeah.
doing it. And the other thing I definitely don't do is sit in front of a blank screen staring, going, "What should I do?"
Right. Yeah.
Like, I, if I reach a point where I'm like, I don't know what to write next, then
Yeah.
I will close the laptop. I'll put some stuff on TV, and I'll just live life normally.
Yeah.
And then 3 days later, I'll be like,
I
"That
got
is
it.
it. That is it. Right? Where's my phone? I need to put
Right.
notes in." And
Yep.
then
Yep.
that's it. Or I'll wake up in the middle of the night. A notepad lives on my bedside cabinet with a pen. If I wake up in the middle of the night, I've got an idea. Right,
Yeah.
that's some of it is nonsense.
I was
Like
gonna say,
some of
does
the
does
stuff.
it ever? Because sometimes when you wake up and write something, it's like you read it the next day. You're like, "What in the world was I
So I
writing?"
think, yeah, most of it is that. Most
Yeah.
of it is that. But sometimes there's an element of just like there is an element of wow. So it's like, yeah, I'll keep that. But yeah, so I just let it go.
Mhm.
I I don't envy career authors who
Yeah.
have deadlines and have
Hmm.
a publisher that's like, you have
You breathing
6
down their
weeks to
neck.
provide
Yeah.
us. I don't know how you could creatively produce
Right.
anything with that kind of pressure.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
I think it would lead me to being insincere with what I write. I would
Yeah.
just be writing stuff to get it on the page. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Brian died. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, I
So
think that's a good way to do it. I like it, man. Okay, when you are writing, are you a creature of habit as much as you can be with a busy life and a job and kids and family and all that? But do you prefer to write like in the morning versus at night? Do you have a certain place you like to sit and write? Those kinds of things. Do you have
I'm
preferences?
I'm often sat at my sofa while my wife will be watching something mind numbing on TV, whether it's Love
Yeah.
is Blind, something I don't need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Um, I I'm not like Tolkien, where he
Mhm.
locked himself away, or
Yeah.
a lot of authors do that. They go away to a quiet place and they just
Mhm.
want just them in the. I want to be able to look over and see my son climbing over my wife and having. Do you know what I mean? I like to be able to break from what I'm doing for a second
Yeah.
and retouch into reality and come back. I don't know if it's just because I don't want to be too involved in it.
Yeah.
There will get periods where I've got a lot to write,
Yeah.
meaning I've got a lot in my head that I need to get out,
Yeah. Hmm.
and I'll focus on it, and I just get lost in the darkness of writing, and
Yeah.
so I'll do that. But I don't do. Oh yeah, so often it's in the evening. Mornings are for running for me. I run a lot.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, so mornings aren't really righty for me. So it'll be the evenings, or if we've got a quiet afternoon, we've just been for a walk and
Mhm.
we're sat down and everything's quiet and I don't want to watch anything, and I'm like, oh, I'll pick this up. I had an idea for this. I want to start plotting out an
Yeah.
idea for this, and because I've got 4 or 5 individual small projects on the go at any one
Mhm.
time, I
Yeah.
can be like, I'll grab this. I'll grab this. I'm trying to work on like a children's book. It's like for 7 to 10, but it's spooky. It's going to be
Yeah.
like a Goosebumps style
Oh, that's
thing.
awesome, man. Very cool.
It is so hard. It is the most
Oh, I
difficult thing
bet.
I've ever done, to try and be like, no, you
Right.
can't
Pull it
talk.
back. Yeah.
This it's like it gets dark, and I'm like, that's too far. Like,
Right. Yeah. What's that
would
line?
I
Yeah.
read this to my daughter? No,
Yeah.
right, okay, let's dial it back. But yeah,
Right.
so that's the hardest thing I've ever done. So,
I
R.L.
bet.
Stein, I take my hat off to you, because
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He
you've
did it well. He knew where that
you did
line
it
was.
well. And the thing is, he can write dark as
Oh
well.
yeah.
So like, the fact that he did the Goosebumps, I've seen some of his grown up work, and it's definitely,
Oh
he's
yeah. Yeah.
capable of worse, and he managed to rein it in. So that's an art in itself, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. All right, very cool. All right, and then last question. You talked about how you like to sit kind of amongst your wife and kids, and the TV's on; it doesn't bother you. So, do you ever listen to music when you're writing, or do you just kind of have the background of whatever is going on? Because that's usually where you write is with the fam.
Yeah, so no, I don't tend to listen to music. My concern, especially if I was going to listen to music, it would be just music. It wouldn't be
Yeah,
anything with lyrics.
yeah,
Um,
instrumental.
but I've had it sometimes where I'm writing away, and my wife will say something to me, and I look
Yeah,
back and I've written what she said.
yeah, that's awesome.
So it's like, oh, damn it, right, yeah.
Oh yeah,
And but the thing, I couldn't have told you what she had said,
yeah, but you
because
still wrote it.
but I wrote it, yeah. So if I think if I was listening to something with lyrics, I
Oh
would end up
yeah,
just
you would just
be
start
like,
typing it.
yeah, like the whole of Luke Combs' album, just but
Oh
yeah, so but
yeah,
yeah, so I'd be concerned I'd get distracted from what I was doing. I love
nice.
music. I love music, but I find it's definitely distracting.
Oh yeah. Now, little side note, you said Luke Combs. So do you like country?
Yeah, yeah. So it's not a very popular genre in the UK.
It's not very
But
popular.
yeah,
Most of the places here, there. You're actually the first
really.
person that's ever mentioned a country artist. Usually, everybody
Oh,
else listens to other things. So I actually nobody knows this. Now they do country is actually my favorite too, because most of the time people talk about other music, and I'm like, I've heard of it, so I'm like, yeah, yeah, but I'm like, I don't listen to that that much.
Yeah.
So that's good. I love country, man. It tells a story every song.
Every song tells a story. Exactly that. I say to my wife, I said, I like stories that I like songs that have a storyline to them. I
Yeah,
don't, a lot of, especially modern day music, there's not really much of a storyline if the lyrics make sense at all. But it's,
yeah, yeah. Depending
but
on
yeah,
genre. Yeah,
yeah. My Spotify playlist is confused. It doesn't know
yeah,
what to, especially
yeah.
because with like running, I've got more upbeat music
Yep,
for
yep,
running.
yep.
So my year at a glance that Spotify do at the end of each year, and they're like, "This is what your year looked like." It's like they have no idea what to
Oh
recommend
yeah,
me.
I've got so many different things too. Yeah, I know. Oh, that's true. It's true. I feel like that's if you really like country, you kind of also have to like other things because country doesn't always fit into, like you said, like running or exercising. It's not something
Yeah,
really that fits into that. Or like a lot of people don't listen to country, so you got to keep up on some other things so you kind of know what people are talking about. So yeah,
absolutely.
my playlist is the same way. But that's cool. Somebody else that likes country. All right. Let's see. So, well, now I've got some questions for you for us to get to know you outside of writing. Um, but before we do that, I've got a quick riddle for you. Are you good at
hmm
riddles?
I like to think so.
I guess we'll find out. The
Yeah.
chat can help out and shout out if they think they know the answer. So let's see here. Let me go up to my riddle page here. All right. I think you'll get this one. Okay, here we go. What gets bigger as more gets taken away? What gets bigger as more gets taken away?
A hole.
Oh, nicely done. You guys are on a roll. This is there we go. Quick on the draw, my friend. Well done. It is a hole. Nice job. uh,
Nice.
yeah, pat yourself on the back while your hands up there, man. That was a good all right. So here we go. First question. We're gonna start off easy. What is your favorite color?
Like green.
Green. Nice. All right. All right. Has it always been green? Is there a reason why
Yeah,
it's green, or you just like green?
I just like it. I think it's yeah, it's just everything I've ever like. If you ever get a character like on like the Wii or something, they'll be like, "Oh, what color T-shirt? Green." It's
Oh
just
yeah, yeah, green.
it's always green. Or we do you play Frustration?
No.
It's a game. It's a game. It's like a dome with a dice in it. You push it
Okay.
down, it rolls over, and you have to move your. But they're just coloured pods, and you have
Yeah.
to move them around. I was always
You're always
green.
green.
Yeah, so green.
Interesting. Okay. Very cool. That it's so you press down the thing and then the dice roll move.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
a
I think
plastic dome with a metal plate,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
you.
Yeah. Ours
Yeah,
gosh, my mind's I love that game. People tell me what it's called in the States. Somebody. Why can I not remember? Because now I'm just thinking about it's called Trouble.
trouble. Okay,
Here.
yeah.
Trouble. Yeah.
So we
Interesting.
call it we called it frustration
Frustration.
because you're trying to get them into home
Yeah.
and
Yep.
you
Yep. That's what
can't
yeah,
get them.
that's
Yeah.
I like that. That actually is a cooler name than Trouble doesn't fit as well as Frustration. That I like that. All right. Next question. What's your favorite food? What do
Oh,
you what's your go-to if you get to choose what you're eating?
like I'm gonna upset a few, like quite a few, but just meat in general. Just
Hmm.
like just a platter of meat. I would do. Like I've got lots of like vegetarian and vegan friends, and I respect their decision. But I never feel as satiated as I do after having a
Hmm.
steak. Yeah, probably steak. If I had to choose something red
Oh,
meat.
yeah. Oh yeah. I'm right there with you, man. I agree. Now, do you like it better at like a restaurant, or do you like to cook, like grill or cook your own at home?
Um, I like the way my wife cooks steak. Um,
Nice.
I like it in a restaurant, but whenever I do it, I'm not that guy. She she says she doesn't know how she does it, but every time she does it, it's like it's perfectly cooked. And
Perfect.
it's just like, oh, I just followed what it said on the
Yeah.
packet, and it's like there must be more to it than that
Oh
because
yeah.
I
Oh
follow that
yeah. Because I
instruction.
do that and it doesn't come out that good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm the same way. Yeah. My wife always her stuff's always better. I don't know how. But and she actually doesn't follow it. I do and it never comes out as good as hers. She just wings it and it always
well,
comes out good.
that proves our point. There's obviously just
Yep.
like an art to it that they're not
Hmm.
sharing.
Yep, I think so. I think so. We're gonna have to crack the code.
They're just
Trinity.
go.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was going to say that it's a way they can keep us. It's like we'll
Yeah.
never get steak like that anywhere else.
That's right. That's right. As I say, Trinity is a wife and mom, and she's good at a lot of things. So Trinity, if you know the secret, I mean, maybe you're not allowed to share it. It's probably a code amongst wives and moms, but let us know if you know it. All right, next one. Now, this one I kind of already know the answer, but I'm gonna make you give me a different answer because usually I ask, "What is a talent or hobby you have that we don't know about?" We found out that you're really good at making your own covers,
Mm.
and you also talked about how you run. So, do you do like races and stuff too, or do you just like to run for your own self and fitness and stuff?
Yeah, no, I do races. I do lots of like probably about 6, 7 a year. I'll do.
Oh wow. Okay.
I've got some big exciting ones next year. So I've got
Nice.
Endure 24, which is a 24-hour race.
Yeah.
That so you start at 12 o'clock on Saturday and you finish at 12 o'clock on Sunday. I'm
Wow.
doing that with a team of friends. So
Okay.
we've got that. I've got a 77-mile um, run in the UK. So, but it's not an official race. It's just me doing it. I want to raise money for charity, so I'm going to do that.
Nice.
Whenever I tell regular people, they're like, "Oh, that's amazing." But then when I go onto my Instagram is
Yeah.
runners.
Oh
This
yeah.
is my thing is runners and writers. That's the two that my two people that I follow
Yeah.
on, and like I'll be like, "Oh, I'm going to do 77 miles. It's from here to here. It's like a huge thing." And then I'll go on to the thing, and then someone's running the length for Texas, and it's just like, oh,
Never mind.
my mine's a jog. So I wouldn't say I'm average paced, but
Yeah,
I'm quite fit.
that's good, man. That's pretty good. Did you always, were you into that kind of stuff even when you were younger, or is that something you took up as you got older?
Took it up more when I got older. I started trying to run, and then I had a motorbike accident which broke my foot,
Oh, wow.
and the doctor said that I would probably walk with a cane. Um,
Wow.
so I was like, I can't walk with a cane. And
Yeah.
then, so I kind of was trying to be defiant and got back to walking without one. And then I was like, well, I'll run, I'll show you. And then it just became a habit. And I made some really good friends who run with me. And it was a good socializing situation. So yeah, it stuck. So now I run a lot.
Man. Well, I got one more time. We got to give a round of applause for that, man. That is pretty awesome. This diagnosis, whatever, like, because a lot of people hear that and they think, all right, I guess I'm walking with a cane, you know? Like, you were like, nope. I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
it was more my kids.
yeah. Oh
Like I
yeah, I
was
mean
like,
you're so young with and having kids. You got too many things you want to do with them.
yeah, how can you carry your children around with a cane?
Hmm.
It just didn't make sense. I was just like, my initial thought was that if you cut it off, I could get a prosthetic
Yeah,
and walk.
that's true. Yeah, that's very true.
So even if my foot doesn't work properly, surely it's
Right.
got to be better than a
Then a
fake
cane.
leg.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's so
no,
true.
it doesn't make sense what you're saying. I might not be able to walk normally, but
Yeah,
I'll be able to walk. But then now you can even tell that I'd injured myself.
that's
It's
awesome,
like
man.
everything. My ankle has sort of fused,
Mhm.
so it only works like a hinge. It doesn't rock left and right, so it's impossible for me to twist my left ankle. It
Wow.
just, but it's like a hinge.
Huh.
But it does make it awkward if you're running on uneven ground. and
Oh
your
yeah.
foot should bend to meet it.
Yeah.
It can hurt my knee a bit doing that, but
Oh yeah.
walking around, you'll never know.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Nicely done. All right, so we are at an hour and a half, so I'm gonna do like a speed run of my last couple questions that I would have asked you, just so that I like to know your answers. Okay, so first one, uh, which do you like better, Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Okay, nice, nice. Uh, did you ever play video games, or were you
Yeah,
ever a game? Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, so first question, console or PC?
Console.
Okay. Now go way back a little bit. Were you Sega or Nintendo?
Sega.
Okay. Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox.
Oh, okay. I feel like usually uh it's Sega then PlayStation or
Yeah.
Nintendo then Xbox. So you kind of crossed over.
No, so it was Sega, then PlayStation.
Oh, so you tried them both and you like Xbox better.
Yeah, and then I got an Xbox because the Xbox seems to be more like I got an Xbox 360,
Hmm.
and that was around for like
Oh
12
yeah.
years before they weren't
Yeah.
trying to. So, and the first Xbox 360 I built out of parts of
Oh
things
really?
I was ordering on eBay. I was like, oh, I need one of these, and I put it. And I didn't make a special one. I just made a bog standard Xbox. It wasn't like I made it with super memory or anything,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
it was this Frankenstein of a thing, and it never died. And I could buy new games constantly up until not that long ago.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
so
know. Yeah.
Xbox stuck.
And you could do Game Pass on the 360. Can you still do Game Pass on it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
As I say, I think you still can, right? So I mean, you can't
yeah.
beat that. It is a
No,
really
that's
good system for sure.
yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, favorite Ninja Turtle. Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Raphael. I should say
Oh,
Donatello because I'm Don, but
yeah, yeah.
Raphael was definitely the cooler one.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, JA says he got the red ring of death when he had an Xbox.
Oh
Yep,
dear,
I remember
he
the
didn't
old
build his
red
own.
ring of
That's the
death.
problem.
Yeah, that's right. That's why yours lasted so long. All right. Next question. All right, this one might be kind of tough. DC or Marvel?
Marvel.
Marvel. Okay.
Hmm,
Nice.
I
All
think
right.
so.
Yeah. That's a good one.
That's
Um,
the tr-
and then shoot, I had one more in my it just went right out of my head. Man, we'll never know. All right, let's just bring it back to books then. What was the last book that you read
I what did I
or
read
are
recently?
currently reading?
I Coffin
Oh,
Moon was the
Coffin
last thing I
Moon.
wrote.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what
I
I'm
was
reading
talking.
right now.
Yes, I was. I've just finished it because in audio it takes me 2 days for a novel.
Oh, nice.
Um, yeah, it takes me 2 days to. That's why I can get through so many a year.
Knock out
For
all
a
those
not,
books.
yeah,
Yeah.
for a novel it takes 2 days, unless it's something like Stephen King's It, which is like 70 hours. Um, so that's like a couple of weeks, um, but typically 2 days I can get a book out. But Coffin Moon, really enjoyed that. I
Yeah,
really enjoyed that.
I like it a
And,
lot.
and just before I finished, just before Coffin Moon, I Breathe In, Bleed Out. I don't
Oh,
know if you've seen that.
I wanted to get that. I love that cover, that like old movie style poster cover that it has. Was that
Yeah,
good?
well, yeah, it was really good. I took the mick out of it a bit on a review. Like I teased it a bit. So it's got. I don't want to say it because it might ruin it, and you'll be thinking about it the entire time.
Oh
But
no.
but it's like a very very grown up, terrifying Scooby Doo.
Oh, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. So
Okay.
there's no dog. There's no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it is a who did it, and
Yeah.
it's a who did it, and it's based in a like a wellness retreat where there's the guy who's acting like he's a shaman, and he's like, so you're
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, he's did it, like you're constantly going, oh, he did it, she did it, and then this weird other character comes up that's like got a hat, you can't tell who they are. So it is very. So I've done a review, and I used. I'm going to swear on your thing. I used AI
Yeah.
to generate a breathe in, bleed out thing, but changed the woman for the Scooby Doo cast.
Yeah.
And then my review in it said it's the scariest episode that was never written.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but the author did comment on my
Nice.
review and said like "zoiks" or something. So
Oh,
I was like, he took it the way it was meant to be received. I
that's
like
awesome.
his writing is good. Like his
Yeah.
writing is fantastic. So I wasn't teasing his work, but it's
Yeah.
just But there's a Scooby Doo reference in it, which I think is what triggered me thinking about
Oh
it.
yeah. Probably.
But yeah, so I was like, I think he knows. I think he knows he went a bit Scooby Dooey. So, but what well worth a read. I'm currently so I've just finished Coffin Moon, and now I've moved on to a short story collection. I can't remember who the author is. Yeah, I can't remember who the author is, but it's quite disturbing. So it's going to take me a while to get through it. I'm going to have to break it up into bits. I think
Oh
it's
man.
definitely it's definitely darker than anything I'm writing at the moment.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, when you remember what it is, let me know because I'm intrigued now. All right.
Yeah, well,
Awesome. Well, dude, this has been awesome, man. I could talk to you all night. This has been a blast. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm super excited for you and for everything you have planned, but also for me and us as readers. I'm excited for the things you already have out, and I'm really excited for your weekly episodic thing that you have planned. Okay, and that's going to be awesome, man. So all the awesome things are going on. Congrats on everything that you've done and have planned. And before we go and I go into my ending spiel here, I'm going to give you the floor. If there's anything you want to shout out or talk about or anything we haven't talked about yet, the floor is yours.
yeah, so like I said, I've got a lot of stuff on the works. Please follow me on social media. Drop me a message. I always reply. Um, I'm never too busy to chat to people. If people have questions about what they're reading of mine, I'm happy to talk to them about it. I won't tell them the ending, so you can't ask me that. But
Yeah.
I will. Yeah, I'm always happy to engage with people. I just want to make more friends in the writing world.
Heck yeah, man. Well, anybody that watches this is going to want to be friends with you because you're awesome, dude. You're hilarious. So I had a blast talking with you. Remember, all of Don's stuff is in the description down below. So check that out so you can check out his books and everything that he has out. And then follow him on the socials so that you can keep up to date on everything that he has in the works, too. So, everybody in the chat, you guys were awesome. Thank you guys for being here. And thank you for just supporting us both and being an awesome part of the show. We appreciate you guys. And if you're watching on replay, we appreciate you too. I'll be back this weekend on, I think I'm doing this Saturday and Sunday. So keep an eye out on things so that I can post the link and let you know when so that you can be there. But I'll see you then. And until I do, as I always say, devour your TBRs, be brave, be beautiful to one another, and be beastly. We'll see you, everybody. Take it easy. Have a great night. So long.